What's up everyone, my name's Kakuajay and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to give you all a tour of my Minecraft survival world that I have been working on for the past several months. My friend and I, Max, are the only two people that play on this world, and we've both put in about 1,000 hours. So with that said, let's get started. I want to start out by giving you a tour of my base. We have this map right at the entrance and then this portal that links us to the roof of the Nether. If we walk around through this little forest area, we have the beacon in the center and Boom Boom, the charge creeper who stays in there all the time. Then I have this automatic storage system that sorts all my items, which is designed by Tango, and these two mob farms up above. The Guardian farm sends all the guardians into the Nether killing area, but I have this hostile mob farm that collects all the items right here. Then, if we fly down below, I have two rooms down here, with one of them having all of the different passive mobs in the game that you can breed, and I've started making little mini biomes for some of them, but I got sidetracked partway through that project. Then, we have this other room over here, which is all the different crops in the game that you can farm, and below both of these rooms, I have two more big empty rooms that I'm yet to use, but I want to put automatic farms for all the crops in this room right here, and then I want to put an automatic wool or sheep farm and a honey farm in this room over here. Then the last thing in this basement area is the secret vault, which after we let this lava take forever to fall, we can then enter and see what I would call a void vault. The vault itself doesn't have much of a purpose other than just looking cool, but I really wanted a reason to use these black maps that we'd made, so I decided to make the void vault. I threw a bunch of random materials down here, and I still need a pile of netherite and netherite blocks in one part of it, but that's all that is. We'll close it up and head on back up to the top of the base. On the other side of the base, we have a villager trading hall and my iron farm. If we run across right here and then go through the doors on the other side, we can see right off to our left when we get down here is an aquarium, and then we have the villager trading hall itself and a bubble column elevator to get us up to the collection part of the iron farm. We have these 4 chests to collect all the iron, and you can see our base out the windows right there, and then when we hop back down we have the vines to break our fall. Over here we have all of these different villagers. I have these iron villagers on the left, which I use iron from the iron farm to trade with them for emeralds. Then we have every different profession of villager and all of the enchanted books I might need for what I like to call my god set of tools and armor. Anything from sharpness 5 to power 5 to protection 4, all for either 1 or 2 emeralds and a book, which I think is pretty handy. Now, this is pretty much everything within the main part of my base, so we'll go ahead and fly out and check out the other parts of my base before moving on. When we fly up here, you can see floating above the water is the 2 iron farms that I have right next to each other and the collection area we were in earlier. And then off to the left, we have this secret tunnel that goes over to an island with a modern house I'm working on and this big fancy yacht. In the future, I want to put an iceberg in front of the yacht and maybe somehow recreate the Titanic, but for now, I haven't gotten to that just yet. More recently on stream, I've been trying to fix up this house. I'm not too good at interior design, but we have a kitchen all made up and we'll continue to work on that in the future. And then we have this Harry Potter inspired tree. I think it was called the Whomping Willow, which I still need to put a car in, but there's redstone hooked up, so when I press a button, this will open up and let us into a tunnel, which can be seen under the ocean and leads us into the final part of my base that I haven't shown just yet, which is my bedroom. The bedroom can be entered right next to the beacon by just pressing these buttons and popping on down. When you first get into the bedroom, all you see is this armor equipping and food and rocket system. So if we die, we just run down this hallway and we're immediately equipped with elytra, diamond armor, all the tools, potions, ender chests, and golden carrots and rockets that we might need. Over here, we have a completely unfinished bedroom, and then out here, we have an aquarium that I still need to populate with a lot more fish. But that's pretty much everything I have to show for my base, so with that said, let's move on and check out Max's base. Max's base is a little bit different than mine. He has more of a compound style base instead of a mega build, more hermitcraft style base. But I think it's still really cool. He's got his nether portal linked to the roof of the nether in the sky, then this big quartz tower and this cathedral in the back that actually aren't filled with anything yet, as well as this creeper farm that we used to use, but now we have an even more efficient one at spawn. He's got a nice little man-made village that is where most of his villagers that he used for general trades in the beginning lived, but now we have a trading hall underneath this village that we use way more often. Over here, he's got his nicely decorated house, which I definitely need to learn a thing or two from because I'm not too good with interior design. But here's his bedroom on the first floor, and then on the second floor, he's got a nice little room with a bunch of mob heads, extra armor, and extra tools, as well as his beacons. And then if we head on down to the basement, that's where all of the cool part of the house actually begins. He's got this really fancy portal that takes him back to the roof of the nether, and then this map of his entire base, and then down below even farther we have what we call the Drowned Village. This is an underwater village with a bunch of named drowned in it, so they'll never despawn, and a conduit so we can walk around with night vision and never run out of breath. Down in this basement area of the town we have even more drowned. One of them's name is Hubert, and I believe that is Greta over there, who does not want to come over and say hi to us. And up top, you saw we had Harlem. But I think this is a pretty cool touch to the base, and definitely not something I would have thought to do right off the bat. Heading out this side door, we can see that the surrounding forest of his base has beehives absolutely everywhere, so his base has a very natural and inviting feel to it. And over by the entrance or the port of his base, we have two pacified pillagers, so they're just hanging out in their watchtowers or guard towers and ready for any intruders that we will never come across because it's just the two of us on the server. Then we've got his incredibly chaotic sword system, which drives me somewhat insane. He, instead of deciding to use chests, made what is called Shulker Island. It is just a mishmash of hundreds of shulkers with all of his items spread out throughout all of them, and he seems to know where everything is, but I am completely lost. And the last thing at his base is these two massive glass squares, which is how we created our black and white maps for the Void Room and the Infinity Room, which you will see later in the episode. We also have this nice Hunter x Hunter world tree over here, which I think is a nice touch to the spruce biome that he made from scratch. And then we have one more thing at this base, which is probably the thing I use most at Max's base, which is the Villager Trading Hall. I just finished constructing this recently, and I still need to clean it up and make it look nice, but all the villagers are in place and their trades have been dropped. We have all of these farmers to the left, which is where I get all of my golden carrots after I collect emeralds at the raid farm now, and then all of these stonemasons to the right, so we can get massive amounts of quartz very quickly for when we're building the mob museum, because we use a ton of quartz and netherrack. But with that said, let's move on to spawn. At spawn, we have this portal which is linked to the roof of the nether again, and the first thing we see is this massive creeper farm, which is a design by Shulkercraft. Then right next to that, we have our sugarcane farm right over here for tons of paper. And below that, we have this huge quarry, which we use these TNT flying machines to completely destroy. This was a pretty fun project, and the main point of it was to speed up the creeper farm, but I also thought it would look really cool, and eventually I want to do a floating mineshaft city that goes around the edge of this. Over here, we also have our very efficient squid farm, which I use to get a ton of black ink for all the dark prismarine that I use. You can see we cleared out all the rivers over here, as well as on the other side of the quarry, so the spawn rates are very fast. Over here, we also have this slime farm, which is much less efficient than these other two farms, because it's not the best design out there, but it gets us enough slime for now, and we'll probably build a better one in the future. Then the last thing we have at spawn is this massive TNT mountain range. This is from a TikTok challenge I'm doing that for 30 days, for every follower I gain, I will place a block of TNT. Right now, we're probably close to about 15 or 20,000 blocks of TNT placed, so I'm excited to see what this explosion looks like in the near future. Next up, we have our starter base. This starter base is pretty ugly compared to all the other builds in our world at this point, but we did live here for a little bit, so I figured I might as well show it. Over here, we have the remnants of a former sugarcane farm, which we used to get a lot of paper for emeralds, our simple mob and iron farms right here, and also our villager breeding system, as well as our mini trading hall right here that has been completely destroyed. Inside, we've taken pretty much everything out of this base, and it's just an ugly old wooden structure, as well as a couple villagers that we didn't bring over to our new base. We have this simple little storage room in one of the icebergs with a bunch of leftover junk that we don't really need anymore. And then we have this little tree farm right outside of our base, as well as being able to see spawn from here. We have one more little end city wooden structure thing. I'm not entirely sure what to call it, but this is what one of my friends that doesn't play Minecraft came onto my server and built. He didn't even know what an end city looked like, so I thought it was pretty cool that he built something that looked so similar to one without having ever even seen those structures in the first place. But now, let's move on to the PvP island. The PvP island is still a total work in progress, but we've got one arena built. We also have our one sponsor sign for MC Pro Hosting because they were our first sponsor. And you can see this top arena is kind of a heaven-themed style PvP arena. We still want to create several more arenas as well as maybe an Elytra flight course, but haven't gotten around to doing that just yet. I want to have one PvP arena that is in the mountains, one arena that is underwater and we can fight with tridents in, and then another one that is completely underground and nether themed that is almost considered the hell arena. But we'll get to work on that in the future. For now, we've had other projects that we're working on. So we'll leave this island now and head on over to the automatic farms. The first and probably most useful farm, as well as the most recent farm that I've built, is the raid farm. The first thing we have when we enter the raid farm is Miss Mushi, who we use to get milk so we never bring Bad Omen back to our base and accidentally start a raid at one of our bases. We have the main AFK platform right here with the two levers that start the timer and the shifting floors, and down below we have the pillager outpost where we can pick up the Bad Omen potion effect. Then we have this nice big cleared out tropical biome underneath, so we have no raids accidentally spawning on the ground, and a quartz and dark prismarine block scheme, which I think looks pretty nice, but we do need to do a bit more building to clean this farm up so it looks great. Next up, we have the witch farm, which was one of my favorite farms to build. It was super easy, there was no redstone, and we get so many great materials from it. We have this nice little automatic storage system right here, as well as a bubble column item elevator that brings everything up from the farm below. If we fly out here, you can see I cleared out a huge area of the swamp, and this was mainly for the look of the farm. It didn't actually help the spawning too much because we AFK up top anyways. Down here, we have the area where the witch hut used to be and where the witches spawn in, and the bubble column elevator we showed earlier that brings the items all the way up top. The last part about this farm is this little AFK area right on top of the sea lantern, where we can stand for hours on hours to get all the redstone and glowstone we might need. The next farm we have is the gold farm. The gold farm is probably the farm that me and Max use the most, mainly just because of all the great bartering trades from the piglin that is built into this farm, as well as the super fast XP that we can get just by AFKing here and to repair all of our tools. To the right we have all the gold, and to the left we have all of the piglin's items sorted out. And if we walk around back, we'll see these ladders that take us up to the top platform where we can AFK this farm. On the first platform, we can see the piglin ready to be given gold so he can trade us all the items that we might need. And then if we go up to the top platform, we can see the entrance to the AFK part of the farm. We hop down through this minecart, shift our way onto this trapdoor, and then all we need is to aggro the pigmen, and they'll forever chase us into the hole right in front of us and give us unlimited XP. The gold farm may be the main farm that we use now, but earlier on in the game, we did actually build an Enderman XP farm, which we'll head over to real quick before we check out the mob museum. Before we go right to the Enderman farm though, I want to show how we get to the farm itself. We hop through this portal that is right on the roof of the Nether, and we actually enter our Infinity Room. This takes us to our stronghold, which we have completely filled with item frames and white maps, so it gives this crazy effect of a spaceless room with just 2 portals to the Nether and to the end in it. But if we hop through this portal, then we'll be next to our Enderman XP farm. Looking off this edge, we can see the farm that we used to use a lot more often, but since we built the gold farm we have rarely been to. You can see the Endermen are already freaking out and chasing after that Endermite, ready to be farmed away if we ever need. And then we can look up to the left and see the path that goes all the way back to the main end island from the closest end city, which is how we delivered the shulkers all the way back to the overworld. It was a pretty tedious process, and we actually decided to cover the entire end island in water just to make sure that I didn't keep accidentally looking at Endermen and getting killed or having the shulker get killed in the process of delivery. The last thing that I want to show is the mob museum. This is the big project that Max and I have been working on, and our goal is to build something in survival Minecraft that has never been done before. This first beginning part is the entrance to the museum itself. To the right and left, we hope to have big pillars and statues, maybe of Minecraft skins, maybe of Greek gods, we don't really know yet. But then we walk up these stairs, and this is really the start of the museum itself. We have this gold star right here, and eventually all of this gold is going to be replaced with netherite. We just don't quite have enough netherite blocks quite yet. And over here to the right and the left is where all of the mobs are going to be put. There are a couple mobs already put into the museum on the right side, and on the bottom floor we have the most simple mobs in Minecraft. We start out with just the chicken, the pigs, and the cows over here. Then if we wander our way up these stairs, we come upon the next set of mobs, which is an Arctic fox, a normal fox, and then the 6 or 7 rabbits. I forget how many there are exactly, but I still need to find the black rabbit, which has been quite a challenge for me, despite the fact that they shouldn't be that difficult to find. Then on top of all of these floors, we have the llamas, including the wandering trader llama. And now we'll work our way back to the other side, which just began its construction process. You can see we can go straight ahead on one fork, to the right, or up these stairs. But right off the bat, we have these 3 exhibits, and then we'll stack 3 more on top, and all the sheep will go right here. If we hop off the back side of the museum, we have all of the mobs trapped back here. And just to check out a few of them, we've got a Ravager right here, a Pillager over there, and then trapped in there is an Evoker. We've got a Vindicator over here, and flying over to the back of the museum, you can see the rest of them, including a baby zombie villager, some Zoglins, we got Hoglins, Blaze, Magma Cube, Enderman. We've got a baby drowned, a zombie jockey or a zombie pigman jockey, all 35 different horses, all the sheep, skeleton horse, a dog, a wolf, all the cats including the ocelot, all the pandas and whatnot, you name it, they're all here. So this build is going to continue to be very fun in the future as it gets bigger and bigger, and as we create more exhibits to put all of the mobs that we've already captured into. So now that I've shown the museum, that pretty much concludes the world tour. If you liked any of the builds, make sure to drop a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions about how I could improve any of the builds or what I should do in the future, make sure to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.